Hey, what's up everyone? My name is CollegeSportsREVIVED and I welcome you to a very special episode of the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series featuring Coach Carter here on Christmas Eve. I hope you all are traveling safe and enjoying the holiday season with your families, and it means a lot that you chose to spend some of your holiday season with me here on the channel. I wish you guys a very happy and a healthy holiday season. It means a lot for me, guys. Appreciate you guys stopping by today. So, on our Season 1 journey today with Fordham, we'll be wrapping up our out-of-conference play. We'll also be watching someone's highly anticipated debut to the starting five, and also traveling to familiar territory on New Year's Eve for a face-off against Coach Carter's former team, UT Martin. And finally, to wrap up this very loaded episode, the reason why the runtime is a little bit longer in this one than normal is I have a huge recruiting update for you guys at the end of the episode that you definitely do not want to miss. So we're fresh off of our first win in series history, the second game of our preseason tournament. It became a classic against Fresno State. We almost blew a 10-point halftime lead, but 6'7" sophomore Evangelo Higgins showed us a glimpse of his future stardom with 16 second half points to keep us afloat, but none were as big as his final two. As the buzzer sounded, his last points were on a turnaround fadeaway jumper that even Kobe Bryant himself would have saluted. It was deja vu for Coach Carter, as back in the UT Martin series, his first win of that campaign was on a buzzer-beating three-pointer, showing that it's becoming a trend for Coach Carter to grab that first win in style. So let's see if we can build off of some of that momentum with a tough road game upcoming against Conference USA opponent Marshall, as the Herd probably have the toughest defense we're going to see until conference play rolls around. Safe to say Fordham lost, but not in the fashion you might have thought, as our Rams fell short in overtime by 1 point. Aw man, we had a chance to knock off our second straight opponent by buzzer-beating fashion, but we just fell short. But once again, this is a game to build off of for sure, with growth being the main thing that Coach Carter is looking for in this first season. Preston Murphy led us with 16 points. Don't worry, we're going to be talking about Preston Murphy a lot pretty soon. So that recruiting update that's coming at the end of the episode, it all revolves around this in-season signing period for high school recruits. If they don't make their decision during this 1 week corridor in season, then they're going to have to defer their decision to the off season. And Coach Carter did score a commit during this time frame. We're just going to have to wait until the end of the episode to find out who it is exactly. So finally guys, we're about to hop into some gameplay. After two back-to-back inviting games, we're back in the Bronx for someone's first start at the college level. And it's going to have to come against Louisiana Tech, the team that came in a very close second place in your guys' voting on the team for this series. Clearly, Louisiana Tech have started out much better than us, winning 5-7 to open up their season. But also looking at the Bulldogs' schedule, they haven't really played anyone worth noting, while we've pieced together a grueling out of conference slate to this point. They're led by first-team all-WAC selection Kenyon Lofton, who is a specimen to say the least. This kid is a beast. I would have loved to have him at our disposal if we chose La Tech. These are two teams that are fairly similar. Lots of size, IQ, and selflessness on this team, just like Fordham. And I think it's time to finally reveal who's getting their chance in the starting five today. It's someone who's very deserving of the spotlight. That's right, it's our team leader in points through the first 5 games, 6'5" sophomore Preston Murphy. You guys have been begging him in the comments to see him elevated to the lineup. So here he is, finally getting his well-deserved promotion, and for some added flavor, we're also going to be player locking Murph in his debut. And already on the first possession, we see Vashawn Pollard playing some defense, getting out in the open floor, finishing with the offhand. Already a steal for our 6'4" point guard. About 13 turnovers a night from La Tech, kind of a crooked number if you ask me. So we're taking advantage of that early as Nico Preston spots up and hits a three. Preston, a 6'9" junior, is going to be a tough guy for Evangelo Higgins to guard tonight. It's his first time playing the small forward position, and at 6'7", I think he could do all right. As we see Preston Murphy off a screen. Nice job, AJ Ali, freeing him up. There's Murphy's first 2 points in the starting five. So, just like my player series whenever I was in college back at Texas in the Road to NBA 2K series, playlist to that in the description if you want to check that out. Anytime that Preston Murphy checks out of the floor, we are going to take a timeout almost and watch from the sideline. And we see him checking back in here with 7:29 to go as Kenyon Lofton didn't take too long for me to say his name. Lofton is a beast, a 6'8 senior, up there for WAC Player of the Year this year. He leads Tech in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks this point in the season, as Preston Murphy checks back in with Cade Sorensen. 15-10 La Tech leads in a pretty low-scoring affair so far through the first 9.5 minutes. We see Preston Murphy on Eric Horton on this possession, their point guard, and then he traps Lofton. He gets the steal, and buckle up for the rising star. He goes aerial for points 3 and 4 today, cutting the lead back down to 3, then it would increase back to 5. Murphy has been our team leader in points this point in the season, 10.5 average a night and just under 1 steal with 2.5 rebounds. He's been doing it all, really, as he does it here on this possession as well. Evangelo Higgins inside to Murphy. Those two have been playing off each other really well so far here in the first half as we try to get this offense going. Cameron Murphy, the 7'1 center, he misses, so a Murphy missed shot, and now a different Murphy grabs the rebound. Outlet to Higgins. Let's see what he's got in his bag of tricks. Nice jump stop, finishing in traffic. 6 points for Higgins, as him and Murphy continue to orchestrate these fast break possessions for Fordham to finally get their offense churning in the right direction. This one's off the mark as well, this time from 3. La Tech still without a 3-pointer made in the game. Up ahead to Higgins. Pass over to Cade Sorensen from the elbow, no good, and he's there for the follow. Nicely done, Higgins. Man, it's the 2 sophomores getting us finally churning in the right direction. So now a 1-point lead for Fordham, and then now this pass is snatched. Murphy bounce pass to Pollard. Inside, he draws the bump. There's some contact. Once again, the Rams being hard to guard in transition. And another thing I wanted to talk about is our struggles from the free throw line. Well, not tonight. We're shooting around 57% as a team so far this season, but at the halftime period in this one, 8 of 10 from the line. And we're already in the bonus, so not only are we getting to the free throw line, but we're also knocking them down as well. So now, under 2 minutes to play, a lead by 3 on a nice little run is Fordham. Mason Williams, the backup point guard for La Tech, turns it over. Whipping a pass up the floor is Murphy to guess who? Higgins. They link up again. Can you believe it? Higgins, the only player to this point with double digits to his name in the point tally. So here we go with Pollard setting things up for Evangelo Higgins. Now he is facilitating not only in transition but in the half-court sets as well. Great backdoor screen from Cade Sorensen, freeing up Pollard, and a wraparound pass was all that Higgins needed to clear the way for Vashawn Pollard. So we enter the break on a 12-1 run. How about Fordham? 26-19. Preston Murphy in his first start with 6 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 3 for 5 shooting, and 12 minutes played. What a performance he's putting on. Obviously, his scoring is doing really well. I mean, he's still on pace for 12, but how about all the other assets of the game, man? He's doing the pass that leads to the pass that leads to the bucket. You know, he's recording some hockey assists. I mean, he's rebounding well. He's leading us in boards, so he's doing everything. But one thing that Higgins, or rather Murphy, needs to work on is his ball control. Even though he comes off the bench, he's still second in turnovers on the team and not as many minutes played as some of these other starters, so that's something that needs to improve. That was his 3rd turnover of the night, but Coach Carter does not lose any trust in his young shooting guard. That play was run directly through him. 3 screens freeing up Preston Murphy to get him up to 8 points. Now Higgins off the mark there. Rebound by Kenyon Lofton. That's his 7th on the night. Here comes Eric Horton, who's blocked by Vashawn Pollard. Great transition defense. We're getting out on the open floor on our side of things, but we're stopping any transition buckets from La Tech. So here we see Evangelo Higgins once again working in ISO. This one gets cut off, but the pass outside to Vashawn Pollard for 3. That's only his first made 3 in 6 attempts on the year. Pollard not much of a 3-point shooter, but he gets that one to fall, and it extends our lead to 8. With 10 minutes to go, we see Murphy setting up the offense, and we continue to run things through him. Nice dribble drive, setting up Cade Sorensen from the top of the key. A bit of an anomaly for him. Sorensen, not much offense from him outside of the paint, but how about the jumper from 17 feet? He looked pretty confident there. The southpaw with 6 points on the game. So 40-29, still not the most high-scoring game, but we're definitely starting to look a lot more like we did against Fresno State. This one goes inside. Nice pass from Evangelo Higgins. That's his 5th assist. Cade Sorensen, nice hook shot for points 7 and 8. And Preston Murphy would hit the bench for about 2.5 minutes, but coming back in here with 6 minutes to play. Lofton at the line cuts it to a 10-point game, but La Tech with only 37 points on the night. They're a team that averages just up above 75 points an outing, so the defense has been wonderful tonight from Fordham. Good skip pass over. Look at Preston Murphy from the corner. Closeout was there. DeJuan Harmon, their 2-guard. Good contest, but man, what a pass from Evangelo Higgins. I can't say enough about his playmaking tonight from the wing position. Here comes Nico Preston, who has made the only 3 on the game for La Tech, as this one is delivered inside. Nicely done there, Vashawn Pollard to Evo Higgins. I'm trying to find a nickname for Evangelo, because it's kind of a mouthful. I'm trying to see if anything starts to stick. But man, I had to go into replay mode and give that assist from Pollard the credit that it deserved, because everybody's been sharing the sugar tonight. 57-41, it looks like Fordham is going to get their second win in 3 games. Under 3 minutes to play, and these last couple possessions are just a formality as AJ Ali steps up. He hasn't had that great of a game shooting the rock, but the good thing about Ali is that he's just such a selfless player that even when he's not doing all that well, he still finds a way to contribute in other facets, like he's doing tonight. So here comes another win for Fordham. They have now won 2 out of the last 3, 63-45. What a showing tonight, especially from our main man, Preston Murphy, with player of the game honors, 14 points, 2 of 2 from 3, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. What didn't he do tonight? But obviously, you have to credit some other guys as well. Vashawn Pollard with that 3, really, I mean, after he made that 3, it was one of those shots where it's like, you know we're going to win this game. Evangelo Higgins had 12, 5, and 7 assists. I was really happy with his performance as well, because obviously Higgins moves to the 3 with Preston Murphy coming to the 2, and Higgins had a tough matchup tonight with the 6'5" Nico Preston playing the 3 for La Tech, and he was up to the task. 4 for 14 shooting from Preston, and Evangelo Higgins, he made his money tonight in transition. And honestly, first and foremost, it was just amazing to see the way that Higgins and Murphy played off each other. They were at their best when they were feeding each other. So, how about another win? We are back at home for another straight game, and this is a 66-63 victory over Toledo, our MAC opponent, with Murphy showing that he's not a one-hit wonder with 13 points, 5 free throws made on the game. And once again, though, it was another kind of topsy-turvy night. I mean, 44 first half points, but only 22 in the second half. Sometimes we just go so cold, and we're lucky that it didn't hurt us in the final stat sheet this game, but it's been a common occurrence so far this season. Hassan Rivera, who moves to the 6-man role, had 11 and 7 off the bench. But someone I've been meaning to talk about more is Stanton Scott. He kind of had his role taken with Amir Holiday coming onto the roster, that D2 transfer we had over the offseason as Coach Carter came into play. Yeah, Stanton Scott, I mean, he's averaging 5 points in only 3 minutes, and he's kind of had his role taken from him, and he's unhappy. And players like that in this game, it's very likely like they could transfer, and with 5 scholarships coming to play for Coach Carter, he already has a lot of work to do in the offseason. So Stan Scott's somebody I don't want to lose. Really good 3-and-D baller from Newark, 6'5", broad-shouldered kid. He's someone I do not want to lose out on going into next season, because with no more Rivera next season, he's a senior. So Stan Scott's going to play a lot of minutes off the bench. And I wish I could tell him that, but obviously, yeah, it's kind of a video game. So hopefully he elects to stay around for at least one more year, but I am worried about him transferring in next offseason. So we're going to continue pushing forward, coming off of 2 straight wins, winners of 3 out of our last 4. We then go on the road to take on Penn State. Obviously, it's a tune-up game for Penn State, and you know, it's a really tough environment to go and win up Penn State College. Even though they're not a great basketball program, they still have a very rabid fan base, and I guess that's what kind of got under their skin a little bit. Really tough road game here, 74-48 loss. AJ Ali led us with 14 and 8. Meanwhile, Preston Murphy and Evangelo Higgins only combined for 3 of 11 shooting. So definitely a bit of a step back for them, but against the Big Ten opponent, I mean, it could happen. So I'm not really too worried about this game, as we are now 3-5 on the season. So looking ahead, we also have another tough one. We're back at home against Houston, a Conference USA opponent who will have one of the better offenses we're going to see all season long. 8-3 on the year with NCAA tournament aspirations. So we'll see how we do. And once again, we lost, but not in the fashion you might have expected. 59-56, another great defensive showing for Fordham. And when you take a look at this box score, it kind of hurts to see how close we were. I mean, we were in it the entire way. We had a 2-point lead at the half, but once again, 24 second half points. That was once again our Achilles heel. We just can't stay competitive, or consistent, I should say, on the offensive end for a full 30 minutes. And it's really costing us some upsets and some closer games. And AJ Ali, Cade Sorensen, the big fellas, the front court had a day to remember. 24 combined from them, 6 off the bench from Fabian Swanson. So we're going to sim ahead as we're finally getting to the well-anticipated moment of the entire episode. Coach Carter and his return to UT Martin to face his old squad. Got some new faces, no more Blaine Fry or Jacques Diggs, but still a lot of the core intact. That core that Coach Carter built for a very successful 6-season run. Most of them are still there as we take a look at their lineup. Well, before we do that, we also need to take a look at their schedule, and just taking a look at this schedule brings back so many memories. I remember our first top 25 win of the series was against Kentucky. They played them this year. Belmont only 3-10 this season, but they took UT Martin to overtime. I remember no matter how bad or how good Belmont was, same with us, that game was always a good one. Our rivals from the Atlantic Sun. Moving down, they did face Dayton and beat them pretty good, 83-75 against our A10 opponent. And we move even further down, and we finally see on New Year's Eve, Fordham travels to UT Martin. Now we're going to take a look at some of these players, where Teron Gardner has become a transcendent talent. No more Blaine Fry or Jacques Diggs. He's become the focal point for this talented UT Martin attack. The 6'8 senior, he had an awesome NCAA tournament last year. I remember his game against Georgetown. He almost had a double-double against the Hoyas, and he came up huge after Blaine Fry fouled out. And he was a big reason why we won that game. And he is the front runner for Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year, which has been pretty mind-blowing. So this new coach inherits Coach Carter's recruiting class. He had 2 3-stars and 1 2-star coming into the fold. Darnay Betancourt's still the point guard, but Rashawn Martin actually has a bigger role from last year. He's now the 2 guard, and he's become pretty much a pure scorer for the team. Evan Schneiderman actually moves to the 5 in a small ball center role. Robin Perry, another 3-star freshman from Cincinnati, 6'7". And we move further down, we see Brian Gill getting a lot of minutes off the bench. And Dusty Harrison, who now plays the 3, his touches have gone down from last year. 17 minutes played, but only 4.5 points. He was clutch in that VCU game. He's the reason why we won that double overtime thriller. Surprised to see the new coach not giving him more touches. So we return to our once home, the Skyhawk Arena. This is pretty surreal for even myself. I can't imagine what Coach Carter's feeling right now as he steps into his old stomping ground. The 10-2 Skyhawks against the 3-6 Rams. And as Coach Carter stepped into the arena, they had a nice little showing for him. Listen to this.
Welcome everybody to the Skyhawk Arena. Fordham Rams and UT Martin tonight. Put your hands together for UT Martin's finest, Coach Carter, making his return. Everybody, warm round of applause for him.
Coach Carter soaks it all in. He's trying to hold back his emotions, but it's moments like this that make college basketball so special. But at the same token, he's got to put the emotions aside and try to coach his team in his return to UT Martin, as Evan Schneiderman, now playing the small ball center this year, actually records the tip-off win over Cade Sorensen. Inside to Teron Gardner immediately, but good job Cade down low, stopping Teron Gardner. And he's definitely someone I'm worried about today. I don't know how we're going to cover Gardner down low. He's become an animal as this one swings over to Higgins. No good, but Preston Murphy on the glass. What can't this kid do? He's trying to improve on his awesome showing, trying to top it. I don't know how he's going to outdo his performance from La Tech, but he's trying so far in the early goings. But look at UT Martin, they're styling on us. Darnay, behind the back flip to Rashawn Martin. It's off the mark. Collected by Pollard, up ahead to Preston Murphy. We don't have numbers, but Murphy is looking for someone to give the ball to. Bounce pass to AJ Ali for 3. Great start to this ball game. AJ Ollie is someone who should probably shoot some more from three. He's around 50%, making around half his shots, and he's only taken, I believe, 11 or 12 last time I checked. So he might have to stretch out his offensive income a little bit. As this pass is tipped, the steal by Pollard, it was tipped by Murphy. Spin move, and he gets the roll. Up to a 7-2 run. Everything going right for Fordham. Check that, make it 9-2 after Higgins gets on the board. So Coach Carter, no love lost. I mean, hey, he likes to be here. I mean, I'm sure he's excited to be back, but he wants to keep his focus on the win tonight. Teron Gardner gets into the box score on a little post hook over Sorensen. Gardner currently leads the Ohio Valley Conference with 16 points a game, and he's also top 3 with 8.5 rebounds, so he's doing it all as Evangelo Higgins replicates his turnaround fadeaway game winner against Fresno State for his second bucket. It's now an 11-4 game, 5 minutes into the contest. Betancourt to Gardner, and he has it stolen from him. AJ Ollie with the active hands. Higgins, over the head pass, and it could be an and one, and it is. Oh my goodness. 3-point play coming your way. Higgins to Pollard. What can't Fordham do in the first 5 minutes of this game? And that free throw by Pollard would make it a 10-point game, but a small little 7-4 run for UT Martin as a timeout's called, so they're getting back into things. Evan Schneiderman working with the ball in his hands, and he's actually going to find Joe Misogo inside, one of the 3 new faces to this UT Martin rotation. Misogo was the 2-star prospect I was telling you about earlier, but he still has some skills down low. UT Martin, not the most sexy offense you'll ever see, 63 points per game so far this season, but they only allow about 56 points a night, so obviously, Coach Carter in the final couple years at UT Martin turned the team into more of a defensive juggernaut rather than a run-and-gun pace that he did for the first couple years, and you're starting to see that really rub off, even with a new coach. Here's Junior Galindo, a former walk-on that Coach Carter coached for 3 seasons. He never really had much rotation time, but here in this season, he's one of the primary big fellas for UT Martin as he gives it away to Sorensen. Amir Holiday on the break. How about 3-point play number 2? Brian Gills tacked for this one. Oh my goodness, Amir Holiday. He's someone that Coach Carter has really taken a shine to. He doesn't play as many minutes as you probably would want him to off the bench, but 4.5 points in only 9 minutes a game, and he's also made 5 threes in 10 attempts on the year, so he's shooting 50% from 3 and not much volume. So Evan Steineman putting the ball on the deck. Nice job. Putting his head down, getting past Fabian Swanson. We saw Schneiderman really work on his ball control and setting up for other guys in his final year before Coach Carter moved on from UT Martin, I should say. But Preston Murphy wants to replicate it on the other end. Great job. Dribble drive once again for Preston Murphy. Not only is he a spot-up shooter, but he's been shown in these last couple games he's got a really tight handle to go along with it. So here we go with Dusty Harrison kicking it out to Jared Barnett, the highest rated freshman for UT Martin. He has it rejected, and then a nice closeout by Cade Sorensen. The defense is everywhere here in the first quarter. Swanson with the rebound. Evangelo Higgins looking for a teammate. Swanson over to Nick Nystrom, and now he gets Evan Steineman out of his shoes with a pump fake, but he has it blocked. But then Fabian Swanson on the follow. He out-hustled 5 white jerseys for that loose change. I love little plays like that. Nicely done by the junior college transfer. So 28-25 now, UT Martin making it a competitive game the further we get along here down the stretch. Ball reversal to Pollard, inside to Sorensen, who will turn it over. Tough pass to get it in across the key like that. Rashawn Martin will drive all the way, and it's a charging call. Preston Murphy, he puts his body on the line, and look at this exchange between him and Rashawn Martin. Preston Murphy, you're starting to see over the weeks that he's someone who kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve a little bit. You can kind of tell with the headband and the accessories. He seems like someone who likes to play with a lot of swagger and fire, and you're seeing that right there. And Rashawn Martin, 5'9", but about 190 pounds, is a really stocky player. I'm sure that didn't feel very good for Preston Murphy. But look at this. One thing I also learned about Murphy pretty quickly is he likes to back up his swagger and his talk. How about on the very next possession, putting Joe Misogo in a blender? What a step back move to take us into the halftime period. 30-25, Fordham with the advantage. This game has definitely been all as advertised. These teams going back and forth. We opened up on a huge run, but here comes Tennessee Martin. They always had a lot of spurt ability whenever Coach Carter was at the helm there. And with this new guy, Coach A. Falls, unfortunately I couldn't find out where he coached previously, but even with a new guy at the reins, Not much has changed from the DNA of UT Martin. Preston Murphy, our top player at the half, as we check into the second half of action. Here we go, guys. A fresh 15 minutes on the clock to see if we can close out UT Martin and Coach Carter's return to Martin, Tennessee. So here we go. Evan Schneiderman putting the ball on the deck once again, setting up Dusty Harrison for a triple. There goes UT Martin's third made tray ball on the game. And perhaps Dusty Harrison in his first season as an upperclassman making a case on why he should have more touches in the offense. There's his first basket on 2 attempts. So Vashawn Pollard now getting pressured by Rashawn Martin. We've seen UT Martin going with this full court man-to-man press, but we've been breaking it so far. Cade Sorensen, kick out. Evangelo Higgins for 3 with the answer. Hits the back iron and drops. 33-28, back up to a 5-point game, but 2 back-to-back buckets for UT Martin. This is the closest they've been to the lead since we tipped this game off. 13-13 left to play. AJ Ollie from the high post. And this one swings inside to Cade Sorensen, but Dusty Harrison with the quick hands. Darnay leads the break. He'll whip it inside to Rashawn Martin. And they put a little hot potato here until they find Dusty Harrison. And look at this. The ball circumnavigates. Good movement on this possession. Darnay Betancourt with some contact, and he still finishes. There's his first bucket. And now UT Martin on top as Vashawn Pollard comes to the sideline as Coach Carter whistles a timeout. So UT Martin already opening up this half with a 16-3 run, and now a dwindling shot clock for Fordham to deal with. Bad look from AJ Ollie and a great contest from Teron Gardner. He's been an animal inside, and then inside on the other side of things, we see Rashawn Martin topping off the break. And Preston Murphy, great find from Fabian Swanson, and he now rushes it. Look at Teron Gardner getting back and stopping another shot, and then Robin Perry tops off this break. Oh my goodness, what has happened to Fordham? UT Martin flipped the switch in the Skyhawks. It's been nothing but UT Martin for these last 6 minutes. And now they have their biggest lead of the contest. A decent look for Evangelo Higgins, but guess who's there to grab the rebound? Teron Gardner, as Higgins wasn't even close on that attempt. Rashawn Martin sets up his troops behind the head pass inside to Teron Gardner, and then Betancourt with a foot on the line, swishes it through. There's his second basket of the second half. 8:30 left to play. Fordham in the danger zone here. Fabian Swanson wants to finish, but this one's blocked by Evan Schneiderman. Inside the painted area, they are not allowing anything. They are not giving an inch in the interior. And now Rashawn Martin can continue to do his thing. Kick out to Betancourt for 3. I mean, he had his foot on the line last possession. There was no doubt about that one, though. 9 points for Betancourt. And then Rashawn Martin forces Vashawn Pollard to step on the boundary line. Now a dumb turnover. And it's just a nightmare second half for Fordham. And we've seen this at pretty much every game at this point. I mean, when Fordham has the lead at the half, they seem to let off the gas a little bit. And then whenever they're down, they like to play the role of comeback kids. But it would just be so nice to finally have 2 complete halves put together. And clearly it's not happening tonight. Darnay to Dusty. I mean, can you even be mad at that one? Look at the team that Coach Carter has built. Oh my goodness. Just embarrassing here in the second half of action. Coach Carter's getting run out of town pretty much here. I mean, this is not what we envisioned after we came out of the locker room. Teron Gardner to Schneiderman. And how about this one? Gardner expands his range and swishes through a 3. Now, I'll give him credit. Gardner did knock down some 3s last year, but man, he's become a pretty solid 3-point shooter here in his senior year. There's just nothing he can't do. And then now, as we dwindle the clock down to seconds left to play, UT Martin on the fringe of a 20-point win here as we put our bench 5 into the game. And something pretty interesting happens here on the final possession. Schneiderman would knock down this free throw. But on the inbound, this is Vernell Didion, our third-string point guard. Doesn't get in the game very often. He's another senior on this team. And Rashawn Martin, for some reason, has a bone to pick. He takes it away, leaves Vernell Didion on the floor, and makes this a 20-point game. That's something I was not a very big fan of. Rashawn Martin coached him for 2 years, but for him to do something like that definitely didn't sit right with me, and I'm sure it didn't sit right with Coach Carter at all. 70-50 with some bad blood there at the end of the game, and perhaps it all started back in the first half. Remember this play right here? I mean, Rashawn Martin trying to help up Preston Murphy, and he wanted no part of it. Maybe that's the reason why Rashawn Martin had such a good second half and why he seemed to always have the ball in his hands. and maybe that was the big reason why he had an axe to grind with Vernell Diddy in there at the end of the game. That's something I was not a very big fan of, and perhaps we're going to see Tennessee Martin next year as well. But for now, we have to deal with the, fallout of this 20-point defeat. And this was an ugly one here in the second half. Outscored 45-20 in the final 15 minutes. I mean, what can you do? What can you even say after this game? Definitely not what Coach Carter had in mind, and it's a pretty sour way to segue us into conference play, as we'll be opening up with that next episode. 17-7 for Teron Gardner, and he just completely controlled the painted area on UT Martin's side of the floor for the entirety of the second half. We just could not muster any offense when he was patrolling the floor. 8-13 on the game. I would be shocked if he didn't win Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year at season's end. So I promised you guys a big recruiting update, and here it is. So who did Coach Carter score in that 1 week corridor signing period? Well, it's time to find out. We had 10 names on the board, 10 high school seniors with 5 scholarships to hand out, and Coach Carter delegated all 5 to certain recruits. So we're going to see who we nailed. Prospect number 1, 4-star point guard Elijah Moss, would not be the one that we got. So he signs with the U. Not really that big of a surprise, but Coach Carter did close the gap very much so at the end of the signing period. He was up to 91%. That was the closest I could get it. But Dustin Black, some good news. He is our first recruit in Fordham history, a 3-star shooting guard from upstate Pennsylvania. He's a guy who may play more off guard when it comes to the college level. He doesn't have that great of a handle, but he seems to be able to cover guys bigger than him with good steal and rebound ratings and block ratings. I mean, he seems like he could go toe-to-toe with bigger guards, so wouldn't be surprised to see him move to the 2. But this one's probably the one that stung the most. Kashin Badiani, the kid that I said could change a losing culture, he signs with Atlantic 10 rival St. Joe's. This one was one that we took on the chin. I was craving to get Badiane for us. I mean, his intensity and high motor was something I was craving for Fordham next year, but we're going to see him in different treads. And then Mr. Basketball of the state of Connecticut, Cristano Faring. Not that big of a surprise. Once again, another battle that we were able to close pretty late in the season, but he's going to be playing for Rutgers next year, trying to change their program around. So moving on to number 5, we have Grant Namick, another kid who decides to sign with Drexel, a point guard who didn't play ABL, so we didn't have that great of a read of what he could do, but obviously with 5 recruits to hand out, we just need bodies at this point. Guys with high motor and high upside who can buy into a system. That's all we really need right now. And right now we only have 1 scholarship taken up by Dustin Black. Number 6 would be Henry Boyden, and something interesting happened with Boyden. He was being pursued hard by Michigan State, but they ended up dropping out of the race, which kind of meant that I thought I could come in here and really make him competitive with Henry Boyden, and I did. But he elects to sign with Marshall over us. And think back to the very beginning of the episode, the first game that we simmed was a loss against Marshall. For them to take our recruit and beat us this episode, that's like getting your, that's like getting your lunch money taken and then shoved in a locker in high school. I don't know, that's pretty embarrassing. So this episode's starting to go from bad to worse. Is now Curtis Misogo, 7-foot junior college freshman. He will sign with Bowling Green. Pretty interesting decision for him. He wanted to stay close to home in Michigan, Bowling Green in Kentucky, but they play in the MAC, so he's going to be facing off against Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, a lot of teams up in that area, so he'll at least be able to play in front of family when he's on the road. Tony Machad, the pass-first point guard from Colorado, he decides to go to Colorado State. That sucks to see. He threw some incredible passes in the AAU games that we watched. 3-star point guard not coming to Fordham, and that's pretty much it. And the last guy was Demetrius Massey. I didn't think we could really make it competitive with him, and we didn't. It was pretty much Illinois State the entire way through for the 5'10 junior college sophomore. So there's good news and there's bad news with recruiting. Obviously the bad news is we only hit out of 1 out of our 10 targets. That's pretty tough. That's a really tough pill to swallow, especially with 5 scholarships to hand out. But the good news is, for all the recruits that did not commit during this signing period in season, we have all the way until the offseason to put more names on the board. So Coach Carter goes back to the drawing board. The only guy who did not commit was Chen Li, the 6'7" power forward from China. Still a pretty unknown recruit. He's kind of the mystery box, if you will, of this recruiting class. Hopefully we can get more game tape on him, but he's really the only one. So outside of Chen Li, we kind of have to rework our entire rotation, and it's a tough pill to swallow. And it's between, wrapping up out of conference play in a pretty poor fashion with 3 straight losses, and the signing period that didn't go our way for the most part. We have to open up conference play against St. Bonaventure, really good team, Temple, 23rd ranked St. Louis, George Washington on the road, who returns all 5 of their starters, Dayton, who's always really tough. UT Martin actually beat them this season, and then Richmond, who only has 1 loss, 13-1 on the year. It's a brutal slate to open up Atlantic 10 play, and that's what's going to be coming next episode. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? We're here for the rebuild. So a pretty mixed bag of emotions this episode and on this Christmas Eve special. The first half of the episode looked really good. I mean, what can you say? I mean, we opened up with Preston Murphy's first collegiate start, and it was a success. Then we started to make some strides in simulating, won a couple really tight games, and even kept it close against Houston. But unfortunately, things did not go as planned, I guess you could say, for this second half. Got the breaks beat off of us by Penn State and UT Martin, and recruiting definitely did not go our way. So just a tough way to end off out of conference play. But hey, tomorrow's a new day. We have to have a very short memory of UT Martin in the recruiting races, because hey, the door is wide open for Coach Carter. All the guys that didn't get scholarships, like Henry Boyden, obviously he went to a different school, but guys who aren't heavily recruited, that are 3 stars, good under the radar prospects, they're going to be starting to shine through as we head into the offseason recruiting period, and we have all season to make some noise. So yeah, that's how we're going to end off this episode. Appreciate you guys stopping by today. Pretty up and down episode of Coach Carter's College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode, but next time you see me with the Fordham Rams, we're going to be opening up Atlantic 10 play. Super excited to finally get a read on our A10 opponents. It's a really tough slate to open up with, 5 really tough games, but hey, that's what we're here for. We're going to try to play spoiler. We're 3-7 on the year. We have nothing left to lose, and year 1 is all about growth, so hopefully we see some of that in the next episode. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays to all out there. Really appreciate you guys stopping by today, and next time you see me, A10 play. So I'm signing out today, guys. Peace to everyone out there. Hope to see you soon.